No, it's not just botched up embroidery. It's the back of my owl quilts. I know I shocked you there for a minute, but I just wanted to show those who are brand new to my wild and free quilting method how I'm putting these squares together. I use my handy little skewer so that I can catch my needle better and it doesn't go over and stick into the batting. Okay, and I'm just lacing the back. Now, if you're making a quilt, this part right here is very important because it is what lends your quilt strength. You want to be able to lace it fairly close together and make your stitches snug but not too tight. You don't want to pull up and cause a ridge. You just want to get these two together, but you want to get them together very tight. Now, since this is going to be a wall hanging, I'm not paying that much critical attention to getting my stitches real close. I just want them together, and because there's going to be no use for this once it hangs on the wall, it you know, there will be no stress and strain on these seams. Plus, it has a sashing sewn to the front, which also is a double strength for these intersections here, so there I don't have to worry about that either. But if you're doing a quilt, pay more attention, keep your stitches closer together, and get it snugly just right up. No ridges, don't pucker them, don't put one under the other. Make sure they just meet, okay? And just get them together that way. And I do like to make me an extra stitch right up at the top and the bottom and tie that off just for security's sake. Okay. All right, has its little knot. Okay, so what does it look like from the other side? It's kind of crazy, doesn't it? But it works, and it's for this wall hanging. This is perfectly good. Now, if I were doing a quilt, I would be doing probably double these stitches in there, making sure that I get a very tight bind or bond right there, okay? Now, as you can see, I have one of my prepared sashing strips. In my first video, I showed you how I was doing my sashing strips. What they are just irregular cuts of batting. If you have scraps left, that's fine. If not, just cut you some irregular cuts, about 1 to the widest 1 1/4, 1 1/2. And then take your snippets, lay them on there. Then I take a piece of netting and I put a strip of that over the top. I was looking to see if I had a little piece cut here. No, I don't. But I just take netting and cut me a little strip. If I bring it up close, you can see it, but otherwise you won't know that it's there, okay? But that helps hold all the snippets in place. And then just do some straight stitching down through there, just whatever catches all of that, okay? Then this is going to be your sashing. So you decide how you want it to go on there. I think that looks pretty good myself. I think I'm going to go with that. Now you will have to cut off the ends if it's too long. And I don't sweat that too much because you will be coming across with another piece across these, or you will be putting binding on the outside edge. So those edges will be secured and caught in, okay? Now, also don't sweat your owls. You know, the owl base is all the same. But by the time I put the embellishments on there and do the double row of stitching around it for quilting, you know, they all look a little different sized and whatever, but that's okay. That's perfectly fine. That's part of this scrappy quilt. And it gives each owl its own personality too. All right. So that is, put one more in the center. That is going to be, and now when I'm stitching that down, I'm simply overcasting. You can see this. I'm simply overcasting the edges, following the snippets as I go down. Got a little bit of thread here. Let me just use it up and show you what I'm doing here. This will be 9 squares to the wall hanging. So this will be 1 row, and then I will make 2 more rows. Okay. So let's, we're just simply doing an overcast stitch. I use all kinds of colors of thread, whatever I'm working with or have left over or whatever. Oh, well, haven't done that in a while. So I needed to do it again and get it out of my system, right? I hate that, but I am the queen of pulling your thread out of your needle. If you don't know how to do that, just watch me and I will demonstrate it for you many times. For sure. Okay. Again, this is a wall hanging. You don't have to sew it as securely as you would a quilt, but still, you know, you want it to look like it was a quilt, so you want to have that in mind. Perfect little project for beginners, for slow stitchers, for just crafters. Like, let's take that one out. I love being able to use the snippets in this sashing. I think that's just the coolest thing. It's cute. It's pretty. It allows us to use these scraps. Gives us something different. I'm using, I believe it's a number 16 milliner's needle. I like it because it's long, it's slim, and it's sharp. I tried to secure down these corners pretty good when these little snippet corners. I'm getting everywhere but the point on this one. Maybe the third stitch will be the charm, huh? There it is. And that's not necessary on all kinds of snippets, but this one is a woven fabric right here, and it will fray really fast, and I just don't want it to do that, so I just take a few more stitches there and guard against it. Okay, we're going to have to go to the back and tie this off. You can see how having the sashing sewn this way is also a very secure means for this intersection here where we're combining the two. For your, if you're making a quilt, then that's very important to you also. You've not only sewn it well as you attached it, but you're sewing it on both sides with your sashing, which is going to hold those pieces together securely. In my strips and strings quilt, which I'm just about finished with, this is the method I used, and that is a very strong quilt. All my wild and free quilts in this series, there will be 12 in total when I get them all designed as I go. But I believe the Owl quilt is number 5 in the series of 12. Isn't that cute? Isn't that going to be a darling quilt? Okay. So we have our batting. I have my squares are cut 6.5 by 6.5. I have an old sheet, an old very faded pink sheet that I am using for my backing. I am using home decor fabric scraps for my owls. I am using just cotton fabric for my embellishments. And I'm using my old thread bucket here. See all these threads? I got enough threads to do lots of owls. And as I save all my leftover threads and snips of everything, then I have threads to make up here to have little tufts on his ears, little eyebrow looking things here. And then this was a decorative yarn, but these two were threads on the little wing sections, okay? And that's as simple as it is. It's going to be a very simple, fun little quilt to make. But how cute. Wouldn't this be adorable in a child's room? I think so, too. Or a country kitchen. Everybody needs an owl in a country kitchen. It'll be a hoot of a project for sure. All right. Till next time. You know the order. Stay scrap happy.